I would rather feel like a fool than be unfulfilled because I never tried anything, because I never put myself out there, because I was too afraid to fail. We all have fears, doubts, and our own unique set of circumstances and obstacles and beliefs of why we feel like something we want is unattainable. And I think today is the perfect day. At the time of me recording this, it is April 1st, April Fool's Day, and it's about to be a full full moon in Libra. So, a lot of interesting energies. So, the one of initiation, it's the start of a new month, the start of a new chapter. It is April Fool's Day, which I'm not sure what the behind the scenes significance of it, but just the idea of the fool, like the fool in tarot basically represents new beginnings, and it's kind of mocked and looked down upon to be in this energy of truly embracing the unknown, going for it, being open, being vulnerable. Um, those are things that make people see you as naive or foolish. And of course, we want to use our discernment in all things. We want to create a sense of safety within ourselves and inner protection mechanisms, um, but not in such a way that we use those to build walls around ourselves and keep people out, which it's this dance and balance, right? Because you don't want to be so guarded that you let nothing in ever, because then you're just closed off to whatever opportunities and abundance could be there for you. But at the same time, you don't want to be so open and to any and everything that you have no filter and you will just let anything in and possibly get taken advantage of. And I think that's maybe the shadow aspect of being foolish or a fool, and what we really think about when you hear that word. But really, things like being cringe is something that I think can be a good thing and we need more of. There's this very, or there has been this very polished and curated way of, especially with social media, how people present themselves, and even in day to day, how we mask, how we stifle our true feelings and emotions and thoughts, even, and how afraid we are of being fully immersed in the present moment because it's a little bit too real and it requires this acceptance of that foolish, unknown energy and letting go of things like perfectionism, self criticism, overthinking, and just being in the moment and embracing that unknown, that ground zero, that blank slate, if you will, and not being afraid to be the fool, be the student, to try something new, learn something new, take a risk. And there's there's always a dance between these polar opposites. There's impulsivity and taking it to that extreme of like risky behavior and just being completely open without any groundedness or feeling of being rooted in yourself. But then, the other polar opposite of being cold and standoffish and closed to the world. Both are extremes. And part of the journey is finding that sweet spot in between where you are open and receptive, but not in a way that takes away from yourself. Like, if you are naturally a giving, warm hearted, open person, you can still give without taking from yourself, you know? Like, I think it's a beautiful natural energy to be in. And it's something that I used to think was a flaw or a weakness to be overgiving. And that's where boundaries really come in. The boundaries that people talk about is not meant to keep people out or something that you direct at other people. Like, these are my boundaries and you need to adhere to this boundary. The boundary is really for you to create a container around yourself to be able to then flow within and experience this expansiveness, this foolish energy, this unknown, this void, this blank canvas, blank slate. And so lately I've been really leaning into that and thinking to myself, like, you know, we have free will. Like, let's let's explore, let's play, let's expand, let's sit in what is sometimes the discomfort of the unknown. Maybe not knowing 10 steps ahead, but taking one step and seeing where it goes and possibly course correcting and allowing yourself that process and not feeling like it's wrong because you don't have this linear, clear path. Certainty is really an illusion and a form of trying to control things. There's so many nuances, uncertainties, surprises, curveballs. Like, life is all about change and mystery, and to be able to embrace that while at the same time not getting swept up in it. So staying grounded, that's that dance, that balance. So I think this Fool energy can be a really beautiful thing because, especially the older we get, we can tell ourselves that it's too late to try something or to do something or to pursue something. And I just want to remind you, dreams have no expiration date. And you could literally do anything you want. And I think the key is to find those little sparks of joy and curiosity and follow them to the furthest extent that you can and see them through. And then once you maybe reach a wall, you can follow another one or change course, but you don't have to keep walking the same path you've been walking just because you've been walking it, you know? Like if you go on a walk, maybe normally you would make a right, make a left. If you normally have like a go-to order, try something new. I think there's a beautiful thing about embracing this sense of novelty and foolishness and childlike curiosity and wonder. And there's a way to do it in a grounded way. And the more you create an inner sense of safety and structure, the more you will have that room to play. And it's also the dynamic between masculine and feminine energies within ourselves and in the world. So that's been a lot of what I've been working on is providing this foundation and container and sense of inner sanctuary and safety, which then allows for an expansion and this ability to go with the flow because you have your roots down, you're grounded in something, and then from there things can bloom and blossom. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting on really embracing this Fool energy, and I'm really excited to keep walking this path and see what happens. And this channel is another expression of that where I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but I'm just gonna follow my heart, follow my nose, and see where it takes me and see who it resonates with and create and connect from that space. Anyway, so that's kind of all I wanted to say is to find a little spark of joy, find that curiosity, find that sense of wonder, take a chance, take a risk, and see what happens. And just remember that, if I think about looking back on my life, the deepest regrets would not be what I did, but more so what I didn't have the courage to do or was too afraid to try. And I've been kind of on a mission to eradicate the latter because we're human. We make mistakes, we fail, we try and try again, we evolve, we grow. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And there's lessons and so many things that come from that. Whereas if you just stuck in your mind and never take a chance, never let yourself be a little foolish, um, that's not the way that I want to live. And I encourage you to do one thing every day that maybe scares you a little bit or is a little bit uncomfortable and see how the world opens up to this foolish energy that you're exuding. Because I don't think it's foolish. I think that it's more foolish to stifle yourself and hold yourself back than to put yourself out there and allow yourself the space to maybe stumble, maybe fail, but maybe you stumble upon something beautiful. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I will see you in the next one. And look how foolish I'm holding this with a pen. I'm still working on the setup, the sound, the formats, all of these things, but I'm just gonna stay true to showing up messy, turning on the camera, seeing what happens, and continuing to grow and evolve. And if anything I say resonates, as always, feel free to leave a comment. I'll put my email in the description if you want to reach out. And I hope you have a beautifully foolish day. I'll see you in the next one.